Shalom Israel, all praises to Abanawa Yahweh by Hashem, Mashak Yahushua. Much love to all the brothers in righteousness and truth and the sisters working out their salvation as well. Alright, and the Heavenly Father Yahweh. This video is going to be on the topic pretty much that the new covenant, proof we under the new covenant, man. Alright, new covenant, proof under the New Testament, right? Which I'm going to go into the old covenant and I'm going to go into the New Testament to show that we, the elect, those that are in the Messiah, that really believe in the Messiah and do what he say, they are under the new covenant or the New Testament. Because this thing is really simple, man. All you have to do is look up the word New Testament, which I'm going to get that in a minute. All right, but I'm about to prove that the brothers in the New Testament knew that the new covenant was established, man. All right, but you Pharisees, you have no damn clue what's going on, man. All right, this Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with the fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break. Wait a minute. What? Which my covenant they break. So if Israel broke the covenant, man, how are you being justified by the covenant, man? If you broke it already, all right, you're supposed to be put to death, all right, when you break the Most High's laws, man. All right, there's Israelites that's confused about the Sabbath and all that, and you know what I'm saying. It'll tell you if you break the Sabbath, you're supposed to be put to death under the old covenant, man. So you know there's Israelites that been broke the Sabbath under the old covenant, man. That law alone shows you're supposed to be put to death, man. So showing you we're not under the ministration of death, man. All right. It says, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith Yahweh. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. So the Most High is about to let us know what's going to be in this covenant. What? With the house of Israel, right? After those days, it's like it. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts. All right, now I'm just going to deal with this part right here. I'm going to bust this down. It says, I will put my law in their inward parts. Now, let's see under the New Testament if any Israelites had the law, right, in their inward parts, because that's part of the new covenant. That's the new covenant that he's going to make with us. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts. Now, let's see. Did any Israelites have the law in their inward parts in the New Testament? I mean, they had it in the Old Testament as well when they were keeping the covenant before they broke it. But I'm going to get some verses to show in the New Testament, man. I'm going to start off with, I'm going to get Romans 7 and 22, man. All right. I'm going to get Romans chapter 7, verse 22. All right, because he said the Most High said he would put the law in their inward parts, right? When you look up that word inward part, it's the Hebrew word korab, man. All right, that's dealing with your bowels, your inner man. All right. Lord willing, I can get this real quick. All right, because he said, what did he say? I will put my law in their inward parts. If I can get that, Lord willing. Look like Satan trying to hinder me from getting this page. Okay. He said he's going to put the law in our inward parts, right? Read it again. Saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts. That's the covenant that he's going to put the law in our inward parts. Now let's see if Paul talked about the inward part. This is Romans chapter 7. Romans chapter 7, verse 22. Romans chapter 7, verse 22. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man. Okay, so Paul was delighting in the law of God after the inward man. So he dealt with the law of the Lord in his inward man, because that's part of the covenant, that the Lord will put the law in our inward parts. All right, let's go back to Paul. Romans chapter 7, Alright, Romans chapter 7, verse 22. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man. Let's go back to Jeremiah 31 and 33. It says, this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. Right? So I make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts. Now let's read Paul again. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man. Man, that's your inward parts, man. Paul had that law of God, and he delighted in the law of God in his inward parts, his inward man. All right, let's see if I can get one more for the inward man. Got that one. Okay, I'm going to get 2 Corinthians 4 and 16, right? Because that's part of the new covenant, having the law in your inward part. Let's get 2 Corinthians 4 and 16. 2 Corinthians 4 and 16. It's like 2 Corinthians 4 and 16. For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. How's the inward man being renewed day by day? By the Most High quickening us, man, with his quickening spirit and reviving us. All right, the word quicken means to revive. So the Lord revived us, right, by our inward man, which is renewed day by day. All right, that's part of the new covenant, man. All right, the inward man being renewed. Okay, being a new creature, getting a new heart and mind, man. That's all new covenant, man. But some jakes can't perceive it and still not going to accept it. But that's fine. Because if you're not under the new covenant, that means you still ain't even under the old covenant. Because you're not keeping the old covenant, man. The new covenant says the law is supposed to be in our heart, man. And that's actual in Psalms to tell us that as well. To do thy will, man. Because if the law is not in your heart like the new covenant prophesies to happen, that means you ain't doing the Lord's will. I mean, that clear. All right. And you're not keeping the law. All right. So this is Psalms chapter 40, verse 8. I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yeah, thy law is within my heart. Okay. So that's part of the new covenant, man. The law being written in your heart. Lord willing, I get another one before this break in and prove it, man. Because this really simple. All right. So like I showed that the law is supposed to be in our inward part according to the new covenant, right? I put my law in their inward parts, man. And write it in their hearts. All right. So part of the new covenant says the Most High is going to write the law in our hearts. Now let's see if the law is written in our heart, man, according to if the law was written in the brother's heart in the New Testament, man. Okay, I'm going to get 2 Corinthians 4, 2 Corinthians the 3rd chapter to prove it, man. Which is very simple. Yahweh willing, right? Because what did he say? I already got the precepts in there. Don't be cheating off my precepts, Israel. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, right? That's the new covenant that he's going to make with us. Write the law in our heart. So if the law ain't written in your heart, man, you're finished, man. Under the old covenant and new covenant. And write it in their hearts. And I'll be their God and they shall be my people. So if the law ain't written in your heart, that means Yahweh is not your God, nor is you his people, man. Okay? Now let's see if the brother Paul knew that we were under the new covenant. Because Paul said something very crucial that links right with this part that says he will write it in our hearts. So let's see if the law is written in our hearts. I'm going to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 3. All right, like I was saying, man, in Jeremiah 31 and 31, I mean 31 and 33, the new covenant teaches that the law will be written in our hearts. So let's see if brothers had the law written in their hearts under the New Testament. I'm going to get 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 3, right, which I already got the precept marked in my book, right? 2 Corinthians 3 and 3. For as much as ye are manifestly declared to be the epistle of the Messiah, right? Because through the Messiah is the blood of the covenant, clearly. For what covenant? That's dealing with the new covenant. All right. It said they are manifestly declared to be the epistles of a Mashiach, right? All the brothers we read about, Paul, Peter, Bartholomew, all these brothers, man, they're the epistles of Mashiach, the brothers in Corinthians. All right, ministered by us. It's like it. Damn demon. Camera that came on. Let me hurry up before they bug out on me. All right. Epistle of Christ, written by, ministered by us, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, right? Because remember in Jeremiah 31 and 31, said the Lord was going to write it in our heart. That's talking about our spirit, man, from the Spirit of the living God. Written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God. Okay? Written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God. Not in tables of stone, right? But in fleshly tables of the heart. The Lord said he was going to write it in our hearts, right? I will write it in their hearts. 2 Corinthians 3 and 3. But in fleshly tables of the heart. So he didn't write it with ink. He didn't write it on ink, on stone, but in fleshly tables, man. All right. And what is the tables of stone? Let's get precept real quick. Okay, I'm gonna get Deuteronomy 5 and 22. Easy one. Yeah, how about Shem Mashak Yahushua? Deuteronomy chapter 5 verse 22. The words of the Lord spake unto your assembly, and mount out of the midst of the fire, out of the cloud, in the thick darkness, with a great voice. And he added no more. And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone, and delivered them unto me. Right. So we don't have those the commandments written on stone where you can go have the Levites picking up the Ark of the Covenant. The Lord he's not dealing with that right now until we get back to the homeland. All right. So the law got to be in us, man. All right. Not in what do you say? What Paul say? Not in tables of stone, man. Deuteronomy 5 and 22 says tables of stone, man. 2 tables of stone. All right. So what Paul say? Not in tables of stone, but in fleshly tables of the heart, man. So the law is supposed to be written in our fleshly tables of the heart, man. Showing you we under the New Testament. But Jake still can't see it. All right. So I'm going to go to Ezekiel 36 and 26 to prove it, man. All right. Ezekiel 36 and 26 proves the elect is under the new covenant. Not the Pharisees, but the elect. Because the Pharisees don't believe in Hamashiach. It don't matter how many times you say Jesus or Yahweh Shai, that don't mean you believe in the Messiah, man. All right, this is Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 26. A new heart also will I give you. Okay? And a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh. What's that stony heart? The tables of stone. Okay? And I will give you an heart of flesh. See that? I will give you a heart of flesh. Did not Paul say the Most High writ the laws, okay, on the tables of our heart? Okay? But in fleshly tables of the heart, man. Okay? This is written not with ink, but in fleshly tables of the heart. It say the same thing in Ezekiel, man. I will give you an heart of the flesh, man. Okay, that's one. I got Ezekiel 36. Now I need to get Ezekiel 11 and 19. Because it all tell you the Most High is dealing with the new covenant, man. Not the covenant with the tables of stone, but the covenant with the law written in your heart, man. Okay, Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 19. I will give them one heart, and I will put a new spirit within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh. What's the stony heart? That's the tables of stone. And I will give them a heart of flesh, man. So Paul clearly said they had the heart of flesh, man. Written on the table of our heart. Okay, I mean, it's clear. Okay. What do you say? Not in tables of stone. So if we're not dealing with the table of stones, that proves we ain't under the old covenant. But in fleshly tables of the heart, man. So the law is supposed to be written on your heart. All right. But in fleshly tables of the heart. That's 2 Corinthians 3 and 3. Okay. It's like it. All right. But in fleshly tables of the heart. Let's Ezekiel 11:19. I will give them one heart and will put a new spirit within you. And in the stony heart I will take out of their flesh, right? Because then Paul says what? Not in tables of stone.